Hey there, Bitizens, and welcome to The Killer Bits. My name is Francesca, and this week I want to talk to you about esports, specifically MLG Rocket League. Now, for those of you who don't know, Rocket League is a car football game where you have rocket-powered cars and you try and score goals. You can play 1v1, 2v2, or 3v3. And this game was actually preceded by a game called Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars. Say that one 3 times fast if you can. However, that game really wasn't that successful, so Psyonix, the developers, they then made Rocket League, kind of polished the game up and managed to market it in a very successful way, to the point where you see the game literally everywhere. It's all over YouTube, it's all over Twitter, it's had a lot of viewers on Twitch. I see GIFs all the time of like sick Rocket League goals. And even the Killer Bits, we have covered it as a collaboration with Stumped. Now, the big thing about Rocket League is that MLG have announced the first season of Rocket League as an esport. And this is actually quite a big deal because Rocket League is such a small game made by some indie developers, to the point where when the game came out, they didn't expect the amount of hype and overloaded the servers with the amount of people playing and had a few problems. And so it's very interesting to see that this game has come basically from the ashes and is now emerging as an esport. However, it remains to be seen how successful this will be. The few worries that we kind of have about this are the fact that if you look at other esports, typically MOBAs, they are incredibly dynamic. The game is always changing as it updates, as they add new characters, and that keeps things fresh. Whereas with Rocket League, it's hard to imagine what else they can really add in order to keep the ball rolling, pun totally intended. So the question becomes, how long is the lifespan of Rocket League as an esport? On top of that, the viewership has kind of been slowly but surely declining on stuff like Twitch and YouTube as the game kind of gets older. That is to be expected. But the question then becomes, is Rocket League actually fun to watch? Is it popular enough that a whole season of it as an esport is going to draw in an audience? And that is something that remains to be seen with the MLG Season 1 of Rocket League. Saying that, it is a game with a very high skill ceiling, but that's not always apparent unless you've actually played the game. Effectively, you have a little car, you've got to hit a ball into a goal, sounds simple enough, but you can also use boost and actually fly the car almost, take it off the ground and kind of maneuver it in the air, and that's where things get really challenging, and that's where kind of player skill emerges. But if you haven't played the game, that might not be immediately apparent, just how challenging it is to control a ball and a car in the air. So I think it could be really successful, and I think it's really good to see the esports scene branching away from, you know, typical first-person shooters and MOBAs, which really kind of dominate at the moment, and into something a little bit more obscure and a little bit more indie. Saying that, like, I'm not very good at Rocket League, I've played it a little bit, but I do actually quite enjoy watching people play it. So I think it does have a lot of potential, and on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and everything, there's been a lot of people kind of chattering about it and showing excitement for the league, so it really depends on how that's going to work out. I mean, with the most recent patch, they did add the spectator mode, so I feel like Psyonix at least saw the large following their game has garnered and were like, oh, this could take off, and thus added a spectator mode. So they're kind of hedging their bets on this one. I don't really think anyone makes a game with the intention of there being an esports scene. Esports scenes emerge from players really taking that game to that competitive level and kind of wanting it. You'll see this in other games, how they talk about their esports scene. Smite, for example, They didn't say they were going to push an esports scene on the Xbox. However, they said if a scene emerges, they're happy to support it, and that's really kind of how these things tend to work out, especially for your smaller developing companies. But what do you guys think about the MLG Rocket League? Let me know in the comments below. I know that MLG has a bit of a dodgy reputation in terms of how well run their tournaments are. So if you have anything to say about that, again, let me know in the comments below. I've not really had first-hand experience, so I can't say one way or another. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. Sorry about the kind of mixed up schedule this week, guys. I've just come back from holiday. We've had a few kind of ups and downs with the Killer Bits, but we should be back to normal next week. And if you want to check us out on social media, you can find us at facebook.com/thekillerbits and on Twitter @thekillerbits. My name is Francesca, and if you want to help us out monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/thekillerbits. But beyond that, have a great day, and try and say Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Battle Cars 3 times fast.